Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women, they and them, I have a video topic that is covered quite often, but is it covered the way that we're about to cover it now? Yeah, that was a pretty good hook, was it not? I go by the name of Young Waves. This is the only time I'm ever going to introduce myself because by the time this video is uploaded and every video after that, you'll see the name of the channel, and then we're just gonna keep it a buck, keep it real, just like that. Anyways, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about today. Perfectionism. Perfectionism is quite a popular topic that goes around. It's quite a how do I put it? It's quite a spectacle because it is the one thing that we feel like we need to uphold and carry when it comes to any work that we do, whether it is making a song, creating a beat, making a video, taking a picture, putting on a fit for the day. It has to be meticulous, perfect, this, and that. Child, gang, listen. What if I told you that perfectionism was one of the biggest lies our society was consistently pushing on us in order to make progress in life? That things had to be done a certain way in order for something to work and make sense. But what if it didn't? Yeah, I know, very bold and brazen that I'm just coming out the gates off the rip just like that. But speaking from personal experience and being or have been surrounded by industry folks as somebody who did behind the scenes for an artist by the name of Larry June, by Blast and Bino. If you're from LA, you know who he is. And also working with YouTubers that have over 1 million subscribers. Perfectionism is something that's actually extremely common amongst anything creative wise, and even people at certain levels when it comes to putting things out and creating content for folks. And I guarantee you this happens in businesses as well, because they all need ideas in order to push things along, push things forward. The idea is pretty much the basis of creation, and creation goes into the products that we use every single day. Anyways, before I get into a rant, perfectionism is literally the one lie we keep telling ourselves that we need in order to take the next step in our journey. So let me break it down for you. Perfectionism, its true definition, is no more than the fear of failure or the fear of being seen. It is one of the two. You decide which one it is for yourself. The reason why that fear of failure came to be in the first place is because of an early childhood experience or parental programming or something that we may have gone through where we didn't get the desired result that we wanted. I know, right? It's, oh my God, wait, it was that the entire time? Oh my God, wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I know, it's pretty shocking, right? If you're already aware of the definition, judging by the title, and you clicked on this video for a reason, if you're already aware of what it is, and you're pretty much asking, okay, so what's the point of this? Why am I sitting here on this video right now, deciding to watch and engage? I don't know, bro. You tell me. No, we came here to learn, because with every problem, there is a solution that's always attached to it. Vice versa, but we're focused on the former at this point. So think about it like this. Perfectionism is nothing more than the fear of failure, fear of being seen, which is something that we said already. But the solution on how to uplift that from us is actually not that complicated at all. Okay, so let me break it down to you. All human beings face or have this thing called trauma that we all have experienced in one point or another. And think of perfectionism as the blanket or the band-aid to cover up what that trauma is so we don't have to re-experience it again. Because as human beings, we evolve and adapt, and we don't necessarily want to experience the negative after experiencing it once, because it's basically a survival mechanism. It's a survival paradigm that we adopt in order to ensure our safety. This isn't something that we do consciously. It roots back to our subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is pretty much the energetic force or the basis of what drives our actions in the first place. Our subconscious mind, in other religions, you can call it your higher self, your astral self, your spiritual self. It's all pretty much the same thing, but it is, think of it as the database that holds all of the information about you that kind of influences your decisions when it comes to making a choice. It's pretty much the reason why most people end up living their lives in cycles and not being able to break through that, because of the default programming that they were instilled with through earlier experiences that they were never really able to shift away from. It's not the easiest thing to do, but coming into awareness of it, you kind of give yourself the opportunity to change your fate and change what that story is. Okay, so getting back to it. The way to absolve perfectionism is not through some philosophical soul-searching task. Well, there is a bit of soul-searching involved, but it's actually much simpler than we think. So this is going to go into a more spiritual pathway when it comes to how to actually solve it, because it is solvable, but it will take you got to put the work in order to do it. You know what I mean? So perfectionism, like we said before, is just a mask. But what is the mask covering? The mask is covering the trauma. It is covering the negative experience that you've been through that created the association that things not working in the perfect order is failure, and that failure is equivalent to death. Because as we said before, human beings evolved in order to survive. And because it experienced failure as something horrible, it's doing whatever it can to survive, which is why it's avoiding even the thought aspect of anything being less than perfect. So how we get through to that is to get to the root of what that traumatic experience was. So there is a technique that some of you may be familiar with, which is called revision. And revision is pretty much no different than altering whatever that core memory is that created that negative association in the first place. Neuro Knowledge also said the same thing when it comes to his teachings. And I'm pretty much going to reiterate pretty much the process that he came up with to absolve this, because this is something that I've used myself personally, and it's helped me a lot in terms of creative growth and structure and loosening the grip when it came to even coming up with ideas and making videos since then. So it's actually pretty simple, quite simple. All you need to do is get into a meditative and relaxed state. So just sit down or lay down, whatever. Just calm yourself down until you feel very, very, very loose. Very loose in the muscles, very loose in the shoulders, wherever in your body. And eventually your mind is going to catch up to you. Don't trip about how long it's going to take. That isn't relevant. That's just the old aspect of you that perfectionism, trying to control and dictate the process, thinking that it needs to be a certain way. We're not listening to that shit. As soon as you get to that relaxed and calm state, then we go back to whatever that core memory was. Oh, apologies. Before you even get into a relaxed state, think about some of the most negative experiences that you've had when it came to the aspect of feeling like you needed to be perfect with something. Like you could have failed a test and then gotten like punished by it from your parents. They could have been OD with it. They could have faced some sort of like embarrassment that led to you feeling like you can't ever go through that again. Find whatever that is. After you find that, go into a relaxed state. Calm yourself down, and because we are shifting our minds from beta to theta. And when our brain is in that brainwave state, then we're able to really rewire our memories, because that state is what we experienced for the first 7 years of our life after being born. And that state of mind is way more receptive than if we are in the constant state that we're always in, which is beta or beta. So think of that as think of your mind as the sponge that's absorbing something new, or that you're clearing out the cache from a computer with old data and replacing it with new and cleaner data. So go back to whatever that experience was and think about it. And this time, instead of letting it play out from how it actually played out, which was the negative experience, recreate it into something that is actually positive and that gave you the result that you would have liked to experience instead. So after doing that, just keep looping it over and over again in your head. And eventually you're going to get to the point to where either your mind feels strained or you feel completely relaxed. It's the same thing. Don't stress about how it needs to happen. And eventually that tension will eventually release. And that's where we get the ball rolling in terms of dissolving that perfectionism. Can do it consistently. I would say like after you wake up every single morning for at least like 7 days straight. That's just what worked for me personally. You can attribute that to 1 day, 2 days, 2 weeks if necessary. But you'll know when it's good when you're not constantly like tripping about it as much anymore. When you're not tripping as hard when it comes to putting something together. Like you will have known you have shifted when you're okay with however things turn out to be. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Keep that in the back of your head. And yeah, give yourself a chance. Give yourself the fighting spirit that you deserve. So yeah, anyways, that's it for today. See ya.